My name is Jackie, and I'm a survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence. My story starts back in high school. It was the summer before my junior year. I was 16, I was driving, I thought I was super cool. And unfortunately, all of those fun, innocent times changed for me very quickly when I went to a party and was drugged and driven to a cemetery where I was brutally attacked by two young men. And that evening I was raped and sodomized with the baseball bat. I remember everything about the night. I remember the brand of the bat. I remember specific details about the car. I can remember the way the wind felt on my skin and the names on the gravestones around me. But for the life of me, I cannot remember the faces of the two people who did that to me. And it wasn't until I found Family Resources over a decade later when I learned that that was a very normal and typical response to trauma. So unfortunately, for many years after that assault, I struggled with health issues related to internal damage. I had to have my colon completely reconstructed. I ended up with a neurological disease that required an implant on my spinal cord. And that now is a battery-operated, remote-controlled device that I will live with for the rest of my life. It controls the organs from my waist down, and without that, I would be completely disabled and unable to really function throughout the day. So I have had multiple surgeries. I spent years of my life unable to work, years of my young 20s, which should have been really happy, fun years for me. And my focus was just on getting well and learning to face the world again physically. But unfortunately, what I didn't realize was how little I was focusing on the emotional side during that time. And so I found myself just living this pattern of abuse ongoing for a decade, and was in recurring relationships that were abusive and violent. And in my late 20s, had to flee a very dangerous situation and flee the home I was living in. I did not have relatives around. I didn't have a place to go. And it was in that moment when I hit complete rock bottom and was absolutely lost. And I thank God every day for the friend who recommended Family Resources to me, who connected me to the support group here for domestic violence survivors. And I have attended that group consistently now for almost 5 years. I remember the first day I walked in like it was yesterday and felt like, for so many years I had been silently screaming at the world for help and trying to comprehend what was going on inside of me and articulate it outward. And this room of strangers just looked at me and nodded. And there was something about that moment where I realized I was being seen for the first time, not as a victim, but as a survivor, and by a room of people who were living this with me, and I wasn't alone. One thing I especially love about Family Resources is the fact that they focus on the family as a whole. They provide services for not just survivors, but also their loved ones, and equip them with practical skills and coping mechanisms so that they can support the people they love when they experience trauma. Trauma is a lifelong healing journey and is not a one-time event. And their staff here are so knowledgeable on the physical, spiritual, social impact of trauma on the individual brain and body and lifestyle. And so what they were able to teach me was really the science behind what was happening inside my body as I was processing what happened to me. And they gave me the words to articulate that in a way where others could understand, or at least empathize and sympathize with me And they gave me the courage to speak up and help me find my voice and the words to tell my story. Because of Family Resources, I have my life back. I have my smile back. I have my voice back. They have given me the words to tell my story, and they have given me the courage to be sitting in this chair today, turning what was the darkest time of my life into something good, and using it to bring awareness to real issues in our community and around our country, and empowering me to be an advocate and a force for change. And because of that, I am a survivor and I'm no longer a victim.